Grace, and I'm going to tell you how this man, he was named Rudy K, was able to make millions of dollars in the fake wine, the counterfeit industry. And I'm going to start off with a little story. So, just like, remember when everyone, like when we were all kids, and you would you would see like these toys for like on the cereal boxes with your like your kids meals, all this stuff, and you would think like these toys were great, like they were gonna fix all your problems, like they would just last forever, and then you actually like eat all the cereal, or you sit in like the little box tops for them, or you get like your kid's meal and it's like this little cheap toy that you break the first time you play with it. Like you feel cheated out of something, like you worked for it, you earned it, and you just didn't get it. Yeah, that's how the people that like bought all of Rudy's wine, like his counterfeit wine, felt when they discovered that what he was selling them wasn't what they were supposed to be getting. And now I'm going to tell you about how he kind of brought counterfeit wine to the scene, like let it be known that it's a thing, and how big counterfeit wine is now. So most of like Rudy's private collection that he would brag about was fake wine that he created. Like he would buy these expensive wines online, like or in auctions, and he would brag about it to people, but he would drink the wine and taste it and try to make his own. Like he would use these cheap wines for it, and he would sell it to his friends, people that trusted him, people that knew him, and it's becoming like a larger problem, this like fake counterfeit wine. And there's countries where most of their wine industry is ran with fake wine. It's funded by fake wine. Like China, one of my sources is like Perfect Crime, and counterfeit wine is a big business in China. That's the name of the article. And most of the wine in China, at least 50% or more, is counterfeit wine. And the people that like buy this wine, the collectors, the people whose lives like revolve around wine, they don't want to get their wine checked or authenticated because they don't want to prove that they've been like played, prove that they've been cheated out of something, or take like a big financial hit. Because a lot of these people will spend thousands of dollars for one bottle of wine, and they can never get that money back. They can't sell that bottle for anything. They can't make any profit at all. And now counterfeit winemakers, they make a large profit by either like supply and demand, like Rudy, what he did in the documentary that I saw, like Sour Grapes. He would buy this wine, but then he would taste it, make his own with like these cheaper wines, because he thought that they tasted exactly the same. A lot of people thought that they tasted the same too. Like people that said that they've had this wine before, have been studying wine, that their jobs depend on them being able to like determine what kind of wine this is. They didn't see anything wrong with it. Like they didn't even know that they were drinking like cheap wine. But he would make his own little cheap version of it and sell it for thousands of dollars, so that way he would make his money back. Like he would buy all of it, so that way he was the only supplier. He had a monopoly on this wine. And then he made, like at the time, like this was 2012, he made over $150 million. But now that's not the case, because like the wine market's changed, prices have changed. So now that would be over $50 million is what he would actually have like been making it if it was like this year, 2019, stuff like that. And that was from a Curious Case of Counterfeit Wine, was that source for that one. And then now like let's get to how or why people even trust con artists, like how they get in that circle, how they just think that they know these people when they actually don't. So a lot of con artists, they feel confident about themselves. They make you feel confident in them. And one of the FBI agents on Rudy's case at the time too called Rudy like the Gen X, like Great Gatsby at the time. And that was also from like Curious Case of Counterfeit Wine. So like Great Gatsby, he was like a big socialite. He partied, he made you feel welcome, and he made you feel like warm, like he knew what he was doing, he was confident, and that's what they said Rudy was. Like he would host or be involved in like wine tasting parties with like the 12 Angry Men is like a wine group at the time that he was involved in, and they would each bring wine and share it and drink together. But they make you feel confident, like they'll smile, they'll be like assured of themselves in their voice, and they'll be charismatic. And that'll change all that you think about them. It'll make a good impression of them in your mind. And that's what Rudy was doing. And also, they'll create like bonds with you. They'll make emotional connections. So they'll make it so you associate a fond or like a good memory with them. And that's also what Rudy was doing with these parties. Like, some of his friends that trusted him, they couldn't believe that he was the one behind all this counterfeit wine, because they said that he was a lover of wine and that he could be trusted, like, because they thought that he didn't have a bad bone in his body, that he was all good. And with that, he created like a sense of loyalty within that group. And that is how like Rudy was able to make his money. He brought attention to a large problem that people didn't really know about at the time, and he sold like this cheap wine for a large profit, and he kind of embodied a con artist in a way. Like, he made it believable for everyone that he couldn't do that. So like all of those people were tricked just by him being like nice, helpful, warm, and that's how he was able to trick everyone in buying his counterfeit wine. Thank you.